Good day, and welcome to Hiroshima University's English Podcast.
広島大学イングリッシュポッドキャスト異文化ディスカッションへようこそ。この番組異文化ディスカッションでは、広島大学に学ぶ留学生をゲストに招き、東広島での学生生活や身近な話題について英語で話してもらいます。さて、今回から3回にわたり登場するのは、アメリカ・ノースカロライナ出身のマディソンとフランス出身のニコラです。第1回目の話題は、フランスとノースカロライナ。聞き手は広島大学のジョー・ラウアーさんです。それでは、ごゆっくりどうぞ。
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming to our cross-culture talk this month. It's a pleasure for us to greet our two guests, Nicolas from France.
Hi.
And Madison from North Carolina on the east coast of the U.S.
Hello.
So today we're traveling to these very two exciting places, France and North Carolina. Of course, everyone wants to go to France. Of course, people want to go to North Carolina too, right, Madison?
I guess so.
Yeah, every place is very good, especially if you know people there, right? But before we talk about these two places, can you first tell us a little about yourselves, your majors, things like that?
Well, my name is Madison King, of course. And I am a professional writing major in English, but I'm double majoring in Japanese with a minor in TESOL, which is teaching English to speakers of other languages. So I want to be an English teacher in Japan.
Wow, and you say you're a professional writer, so what do you want to write?
Well, I've always really liked to write stories, but I found out that the professional writing major can cover a lot of different jobs. It can get you some very strange jobs in random companies just writing instruction manuals or writing advertisements.
Okay, so some writing might not be funny enough?
Yeah, probably not.
Okay, good. Okay, and Nicolas?
My name is Nicolas Massier.
Mm-hmm.
So even for French, it's a complicated name.
Okay.
And so I come from the south of France.
Uh-huh.
And I studied biology.
Okay.
Then I changed.
Okay.
Because I didn't like that anymore.
Okay.
So I began Japanese.
Okay.
And now I think when I go back to France, I will become student to teach French to foreigners.
That's good. Okay, thank you. Okay, so again, today we're talking about France and North Carolina. Nicolas, can you tell us a little about the geography of France?
Even if France is really small compared to the United States.
How about compared to Japan? Is it?
It's bigger, yes, than Japan.
Oh, France is a little bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Japan is the size of Germany.
Okay, which is a
Roughly.
Little smaller than France?
Yeah, it's a little smaller than France.
Okay.
And we have different regions, and all these different regions are slightly different geographies and climates. For example, we have the Alps and the Pyrenees that are the two big mountains, chain of mountains.
Right.
And there is the Atlantic coast, and there's the Mediterranean, which is way hotter and drier than the rest of France. That's where I come from. And there's in the north, they have climate really close to the one in Ireland and England. So it's really different.
Yeah, they've got mountains and a lot of flat areas, some hot areas, some cold areas. And how about North Carolina, Madison?
It's actually a bit the same kind of to France. We have a beach, of course, on the coast. And then getting into the middle, it's kind of plain lands. They're a little bit dry, but there's a lot of cornfields.
Cornfields, okay.
And then to the far west of North Carolina, there's mountains. And my school in the U.S. is in the mountains.
Oh, okay. How are the mountains in North Carolina compared to mountains in Japan?
Oh, that's one thing that I've really liked about Japan. It looks a lot like home.
Oh, it looks like North Carolina, kind of.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And the mountains are very similar to this university campus, in fact, because it gets quite hot in the valleys, but then it's pretty cold on the tops.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so we've talked about the geography. Let's do the most important thing, the people in the two places. Are there any interesting characteristics for French people, for example? How are they different from people in Japan? The personalities, that kind of thing.
Before, when I was in France, I thought that people were thinking wrong, that it wasn't right. But France lifestyle revolves a lot around food.
Okay.
But I didn't realize when I was in France. When I see here, people are eating really fast, for example. They don't stay a long time in front of the table.
Okay.
In France, a meal less than half an hour seems really short, and we're supposed to eat with friends and take our time. And for example, the family meeting, the meal can last for 3 or 4 hours.
Okay. So would that be like a lunch or a dinner?
Mostly lunch in general.
Wow, so lunches are really important in France.
Yeah, and we begin to cook around 10. We begin to eat around noon.
Okay.
And sometimes the dessert is at 4.
Okay, cool.
So it's just that everybody is speaking at the same time, so it takes really long.
Okay, good. And how about the people in North Carolina? What's really important to them? Any unique characteristics?
Well, I think North Carolina is a little bit interesting in that it's a southern state. So you get a lot of rednecks, which are interesting people in of themselves.
What is a redneck?
A redneck is somebody from the South of America. They're usually characterized by being of a low economic class, and they apparently like to ride dirt bikes and shoot animals in the woods.
Okay.
And most of the time they are associated with being racist.
Okay.
But I've met many people that are considered rednecks that aren't racist.
Wow, okay.
But then we also have a very liberal population of people who are actually welcoming South American immigrants into North Carolina.
Oh, okay, good.
Which is very rare for a southern state. Usually they do not like South Americans coming into their states. So in that sense, North Carolina has been a bit more liberal than other places, and therefore we do have a little bit of a high South American population.
Right, the Latin American speakers from Central America and all that, pretty many have come to North Carolina.
Yeah, it's a relatively large population. It's definitely not the largest.
Okay.
But it's up.
Okay.
Interesting for the region.
How about immigrants in France, Nicolas?
Well, most of the immigrant crisis is happening while I'm here. So and I don't watch news from France.
Okay.
So I know that there is a problem, mostly because a lot of countries in Europe are racist. So they don't.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
The people are less racist than the governments.
Okay, the people are less racist than the government.
Yeah.
You think the governments are racist in Europe?
Yes, because in general they come from highest class.
Yes.
They are richer, and they are sometimes descendant of nobles.
Okay.
And it's always the same people that are our politics, so they don't really understand the rest of the people.
That's interesting. But you think the average person in France sometimes will talk with people from other cultures, no problem?
I think so.
Okay, good.
I think that we are less open-minded than other countries, but we are not the more close-minded. That's sure.
Okay, good. And a minute ago, Nicolas, you talked about food a little. Is there any interesting French food? How's French food different from Japanese food?
I'm not a good cooker, so I can't really say the difference between. But I know that we have a lot of specialties in France, and it's a little like Japan. Every region and every town has its specialties. It's in Japan. When someone goes to a new city, they always come back with the specialty as an omiyage, or the idea is to eat the specialty when they are there. But in France, we don't have that idea as much. We want to try, but if we go to a city, it's not any cost trying the specialty. But there is really wide
Yeah, the idea of eating the local specialty in Japan seems even stronger. And how about in North Carolina, Madison? Are there any kind of unique foods that the rest of America doesn't really do so much?
I don't think there is anything specific to North Carolina, but we do have the Southern soul food tradition to some extent, and it is absolutely delicious.
What is Southern soul food?
It's things like biscuits and gravy, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, anything that's like really heavy on butter, and it's supposed to make you feel good on the inside when you eat it.
Okay, that's cool. Next, let's talk about movies a little bit, especially France. France is very famous for movies. How are French movies different from American movies? Any ideas, Nicolas?
I would think that French movies are less showing action. It's less turn on action and it's more thinking or love stories and stuff like that. But I don't really like French movies. And in general, when I go to the cinema, it's to watch blockbusters. So in general, American movies. So
sometimes this excitement is kind of unique, you think? American movies? What's unique about or good about American movies? Anything?
In general, it's because the blockbusters, I don't need to think.
Okay.
I just watch and I take everything.
You don't need to think. That's cool. How about music? French music and American music. Any differences that you... or basically you think the same? Pop is pop? What do you think?
I'd say that because of the influence of the United States, our French music is less different than it was before. But in general, French music has more love songs and
more love songs?
Weird lyrics.
Okay, weird lyrics. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, we've only got a couple minutes left here. Let's talk a little about Japan. Are there any differences between North Carolina and Japan? What are some examples, Madison?
It's really interesting talking about that. One of the biggest things that I noticed when I came here is that it was not as different as I expected.
Okay, a lot of things are the same.
Yeah, people always like to tell you, oh, you're going to Japan, it's such a different culture, which it absolutely is. But everything you do is just going to be so different. And honestly, it hasn't been too entirely different. It feels really at home here. But some of the major differences, I would say, is there's much more walking here.
Okay.
Public transportation is extremely prominent, whereas in North Carolina, you absolutely have to be able to drive because my home is about 5 miles away from the nearest grocery store. So while you could probably walk that on a hot summer day, it's not going to be a good idea to walk all the way on a highway since there's no sidewalks to the grocery store.
Okay. Madison, I have $1 million question for you. Do you think there are more similarities between America and Japan or more differences? You said that there are a lot of similarities, right?
Yes.
What do you think?
Honestly, I think there may be more similarities than differences, just because people everywhere seem to be very similar. Even though
personality is similar like that?
Yes, kind of like...
To some extent, right?
Yes. And while there are very many differences, and Japan is an extremely unique culture, it's when you don't examine the culture, when you just live in it, I don't find everyday living to be much more different.
That's right. For example, a lot of the food is the same. Rice, bread. Okay, how about France? Any differences, similarities?
Exactly like her. It's not that different.
Okay.
It's obviously there is differences because the history is not the same, the culture is not the same, but the people are really similar, and it's mostly, I think, the language barrier.
Language barrier is a big difference, right?
That's mainly what prevents people to understanding each other. But besides that, it's really similar. The people are really similar, and
Okay, that was interesting. Today, we've run out of time, but we've seen that actually both of our guests today think that the similarities are quite great, that people have the same dreams, the people at work have the same problems like that. So a lot of things really are the same. We'll be back again next month to talk more about France and North Carolina. We hope to see you then. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
いかがでしたか？2人のふるさとノースカロライナとフランスについて語ってもらいました。マディソンもニコラも日本とふるさとの国には違いよりも共通点の方が多いと感じているようですね。日本人である私たちも外国に行けば同じように感じることでしょう。同じ人間同士ですから国は違えど心を通わせることは難しくないはずです。それでは次回の異文化ディスカッションまでごきげんよう。